How are you guys doing? Come on in. It's Kirsten Liebelt. It's Monday. We should love Mondays as much as we love Fridays. Okay. All right. I could hear the response. It wasn't nearly as enthusiastic as it is on Fridays. I'm just saying. Welcome in, you guys. Come on in. Grab your coffee. Grab your tea. I've got my water with my aminos. I've got my new morning whatever breakfast drink that I'm liking. It's got a little bit of rhodiola in there. Just saying. And come on in. Like, let me know if you're on the replay. Let me know where you're coming in from. I would love to know. I'm going to fix this for a second. This feels like it's very like, there we go. Maybe that's a little better. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Kirsten Liebelt. I live in Minnesota. And I was basically born and raised here with a daddy who was Italian, 100%, and insulin dependent, type 2, and he died at 63. And that is kind of the impetus of my journey. My entire life has been about food and being Italian and being emotionally connected and all of the things. And then being gestational diabetic when I was with my first baby, hypoglycemic with my second. And then by the time I was 50, I was such a freaking hot mess express. So if that sounds like anything that you can resonate with or relate to, then just park yourself for half a freaking minute. Park yourself. And if you ever need the replays, by the way, you guys, I know there are a lot of you that work. So some of you are being a little naughty and you're listening while you're working. But some of you you have a hard time keeping up, right? And I totally get it. And whatever. Go to my YouTube channel. It's my same name, Kirsten Liebelt. And if you go to the YouTube channel and you click on live, all of the lives are in order. And they're so much easier to catch up on than it is to be on Facebook or Instagram sometimes. But anyway, I digress. So good morning, Sue. Good to see you. Good morning, Joan from Wisconsin. Magda, good morning. Beautiful Monday, Magda. How is it in New York? The sun is shining in Minnesota. I'm very pleased with this winter. We got super duper frigid, freezing cold in December. And I was like, oh, what's going to happen? And then it turned out to be like very doable, very like, we're okay. We're okay. Good morning, Julia from Wisconsin. Geraldine, thank you. She says she likes my shirt. I got this like at Marshall's. It's like a Michael Kors or whatever. But I've really liked it because I like the color. It's kind of, I don't know if it shows as orangey, but it's kind of that orangey red. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Good morning, Jody. She says, good morning, ladies. Patty, sweet lady Patty in California. Literally, we go the entire like United States. And then my Canadian friends will jump on here pretty soon too. So good morning, working bee. Good to see you. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay, so today, this is what I wanted to talk about. Jackie, good morning. Jan, hello. Don't you love the sunshine? I know, it's like life-giving. I will tell you a little side note. I have been very intentional about upping my vitamin D this year, and it is making a substantial difference. Substantial. Like I'm trying to take 8,000 IUs a day, and I know that that's even low for some people, but that's kind of a sweet spot for me right now. And just if you need a good vitamin D that is not synthetic and it's sourced from mushrooms, then it's cheap. I mean, seriously, it's like 30 cents a pill, and a pill is 1,000 IUs, right? Yeah. Any hoodle, let me know. All right, Magda, the sun is shining, but very cold. I know. And they kind of go together, don't they? Like the sun, it's like the clouds keep the heat in. So you got to have one or the other, right? So hello from Arizona. Good to see you. Arizona's always sunshiny, isn't it? Pretty much. I mean, not a lot of rain going on. So there you go. All right. So today, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about the gallbladder. And the reason why is because I get a lot of conversation in the background. People who have they're asking, is it the same? Do I approach everything the same way if I have a gallbladder? Do I approach everything the same way if I don't have a gallbladder? What's the difference? And, whatever. And I'm telling you, like this entire system thought process of being able to turn back your insulin resistance. I mean, your whole system, if you will target the internal universe of your liver, your gut, your insulin, just is what we're talking about every single day. your body will actually deliver you results. So let's just kind of dive in. Maybe you're going to find a few nuggets here today that maybe you didn't know, or that will just kind of reinforce something that you did know. So 2 metabolic stories, whether you have a sluggish gallbladder or no gallbladder, what actually helps with each one. Okay. So if you've ever felt confused listening to gallbladder content, and I'll tell you, maybe you've never even heard of thinking about your gallbladder. Maybe you're like, well, I don't even think about my gallbladder. Today's a really good day, because if you're having a hard time losing weight, let's just talk about it. Okay. So if you feel like there's been confusing content, or you kind of like, it's just like one of those things that people really aren't chatting about a lot. So you're like, I'll get to that at some point. This live is for you. Okay. That's who it's for, because there are actually 2 very different metabolic situations: women with a sluggish gallbladder and women who have had theirs removed. And when we lump them together, nobody gets clarity or results, seemingly, because I have a lot of people that are like, excuse me, they don't know which way to necessarily go. So today I'm going to break them apart so that you can know which lane you are in. All right. So your gallbladder doesn't make the bile. You know that, right? So your liver does. Your gallbladder is just a storage unit. The gallbladder's job was to store and release bile at the right time. So whether your gallbladder is sluggish or it's gone, the core issue is still the same. It's still the same. Okay. So bile flow and your liver workload and your insulin signaling, it's like all one conversation. But how we support those things depends on which situation you are in. So this is for somebody who you still have your gallbladder, fatty foods sit heavy, bloating after meals, constipated, your upper right rib discomfort, right? Your upper right rib, right underneath that right boob. You were told you have sludge or small stones. Okay. Your liver is making bile, but it's thick and slow. That's what's happening. The gallbladder cannot release it efficiently. So fats aren't broken down well and insulin stays elevated. This is why this connection is so dang important to talk about. Because if you've got something going on in your body that's keeping your insulin high, listen, if you have high insulin, you can't burn fat. And if you have a sluggish liver, you can't burn fat. And you feel like you're just hitting your head against a brick wall and you're like, what is wrong with me? Is this just the way that my life is going to be? And I have to just embrace this overweight life, or this new menopause or post-menopause body. This is just the way that it is. No, you can actually target your systems and get a different result. Okay. So your gallbladder can't release it efficiently, so fats aren't broken down well, and insulin stays elevated, and inflammation rises. Hey, you know what I got in the mail? I got myself a vibration plate. I'm going to test it and tell you. I have a friend who, she said, Kirsten, I have it like under my feet at my desk all the time. She said, I'm doing my vibration plate all the time. And remember, I'm not going to talk about this, but remember, your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. It doesn't do it on its own. Your heart is a pump, right? But your lymphatic system actually has to have bodily movement. So you have to go for a walk. That's why walking after meals is so helpful. You have to do something to get your lymphatic system moving. If you see people teaching like opening up your lymphatic, areas under your arms, and, there are different points on your face and all these things, and that's why gua sha, blah, 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 all that stuff. So anyway, my point is that I bought a vibration plate. It just came in the mail this morning. So I'm excited to try that out. I'll have to tell you guys about it in my stories or something. But anyway, so inflammation rises because you have high insulin. So that inflammation, this is where you've got to get this inflammation moving through your body. You got to get stuff to calm down, simmer down, and move. So you could be eating clean, but you're not feeling comfortable after meals. And I know that it can be discouraging mentally, because if you feel like you're bloated, you might be telling yourself, oh, you're just gaining fat, you're gaining weight, and you feel out of control. Makes you feel like you're on that freight train of weight gain, and it might just be bloating, and you just need to move inflammation through your body. Does that make sense? Okay. So you're tired, you're puffy, you're starting to avoid fats, even though you know you need them, that type of thought process, because you're not digesting well, because you're sluggish. Good morning, Marilyn. She says, good morning, Kirsten and friends. My other New York friend. Good to see you, Marilyn. Good to see you. So how to support this lane. Okay. Liver support thins your bile and improves your flow. So all of y'all who are doing the things for your liver that you know you need to be doing, you are literally helping to thin out your bile so it's not thick and sludgy, right? This is like super important. You're improving the flow. So this is not about, excuse me, it's not about Band-Aids on your body to try to get your body to produce a result. You literally need to get flow moving, flow, whether it's with your bile and then your impacted waste, your toxins. You want things flowing through your body, not sludgy and backed up, because that's how we then end up with issues, right? Choosing to work with your gut so that you can improve your digestion and your nutrient absorption. Like you need these things to be working for you. Magnesium is a really big help for all of this. You know how I am so in love with the magnesium I take. I'm not going to go into that today, but I love the magnesium I take every single night. But it relaxes your bile ducts. Did you know that? So magnesium like plays a really important piece. God, I'm telling you, magnesium deficiency is insane. We'll have to talk about that. Bitter foods, lemon water. So like, remember if you're eating like dandelion greens or arugula or whatever, bitter greens and lemon water, these are types of things that can help your body to produce more bile, to keep things, because you don't want it to be less bile and thick and sluggish. You want it to be more bile, thin, moving, flowing, right? So the goal here is to restore flow so that your gallbladder can do its job again if you have it. And if you don't have it, we're going to get into that too. Okay. We're going to get into that like right now. So hold on. Deborah, good morning from Oklahoma. Good to see you. Luana, good morning. I didn't know that's what you did for a job till this morning. That was really cool, Luana. Heidi, good morning from Washington. I have not had a Washingtonian? No. How do I say that? A Washington person for a very long time. Welcome. So good to meet you, Heidi. Jackie, you started walking Friday, Saturday, 1 mile. Good job, Jackie. Sunday off, walking today again. Way to go. You will never regret walking, ever. And I fall down on the job a tiny bit in the winter because I don't like to be cold. I'm just going to tell you. So I have the lymphatic machine. And I also bought, okay, you guys are going to laugh at me. I'll tell you what I think about it though. If I hate it, I'll tell you I hate it. If I love it, I'll tell you I love it. It's a portable like squat machine. Like just, it's small. Like anyway, so I'm going to get things moving no matter what. Because in the summertime, I love walking. I love getting out, walking. I can walk inside and stuff, but it's like, and my girlfriend actually does an incredible job about that. She's very homebound because she has twin autistic boys that she takes care of that are nonverbal. So her life is different than most everybody else's life. She walks and walks and walks and walks in her house. She's done this for literally decades now. She gets in so many steps. She outshines all of us. All of us pale in comparison to her and her amazingness. I'm just telling you, crazy. Sitting in nuclear, okay, Christine, sitting in nuclear med for gallbladder scan in St. Petersburg. Oh my gosh, this is very timely for you, Christine. Very timely. Okay, well then I'm going to get on to the information because you need to hear this before you go back in for the scan. Oh my gosh, let's get on with it. So if you've had your gallbladder removed, okay, and I'm going to tell you, this is a really close to home conversation because my daughter, she's had gallstones twice now. She's only 35. She's had gallstone episodes twice. And she has always turned it around with food and supplementation. Once she understood the second time around how to fix it, she may never have them again, because she was pregnant and they wanted to take out her gallbladder. She's like, pretty much not going to do that. So everything I teach, she implemented. Anyway, okay. So you've had your gallbladder removed maybe years ago. Maybe you have random diarrhea or constipation, greasy stools, bloating even from healthy fats, fatigue after meals, unexplained weight gain. Your body still makes bile. It just doesn't have storage anymore. So bile drips slowly instead of being released from a gallbladder in surge when you eat fats. That's why digestion feels very unpredictable. Okay, so that's what happens. That's what our gallbladders are, not throwaway organs. I know we've been told certain things or whatever, but they're not. Okay, so maybe you were told you'll be fine, but no one explained why food suddenly felt different. You started fearing fats or blaming yourself. Okay, because you've had your gallbladder removed and you just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So again, we're going to go back to, it's the exact same support. It's just that you're living in a different reality. So there's one side and then there's the other side. They both have the same support. Support your liver so that you have cleaner bile production. Support your gut so that you can help replace what the gallbladder used to assist with. So this is huge. People will say to me on my content all the time, like, but what if I've had my gallbladder removed? I'm like, all the more. You need to lower your insulin load. Okay. And smaller fat portions spread throughout the day. So the goal here isn't storage. It's steady bile support and insulin calm. So you're trying to now support, because the storage is gone. The storage unit left the building. Now you need to support the bile flow that's coming from your liver. You want to make sure, again, you don't want it to be thick and sluggish, like just sludgy. You don't want that. You want it to be thin and flowing. Okay. So this is literally everything we talk about, which is the total body reset. I'll explain that in just a minute. But either way, you're wanting to then also get your insulin to calm down. You got to get your insulin to calm down. Okay. So this is where insulin resistance shows up in both of these scenarios. Okay. In both situations, when bile is not doing its job, insulin stays high longer. High insulin tells your body one thing: store fat. Store fat. That's why belly fat shows up, energy drops, and cravings will start to spike. You're like, oh, I just crave. Okay. It's not a willpower issue, you guys. This is not a character flaw. This is literally signaling issues inside of your body. always go back to that whole, if your car is ran on a computer motherboard and you spill water on it, it's going to fritz out. That's just what's happening. You've got signaling issues going on. Okay. So you don't need a gallbladder to have a healthy metabolism. If you've had it removed, you don't have to have a gallbladder to have a healthy metabolism. You can regain. You really can. And having a sluggish one doesn't mean surgery is inevitable. Like, you can turn that back around, right? In my opinion, I'm not a doctor. Okay. I've just watched it with my daughter, the closest person to me in that scenario. There are many others, but you do have to have targeted support. Once you give your body that, it often responds really beautifully. Okay. Because this is one of those systems where you can get it up and running. You don't have to, it doesn't have to stay that way for very long. So if you're unsure which way, which lane that you're in, a sluggish gallbladder or no gallbladder, I mean, if you have it or not. But if you're not really quite sure, like will this work for either way? I mean, the answer is yes, it will. So hello from Maine. You're welcome. You are welcome. And thank you for thank you. Thanks for jumping on and saying, hey. I love it when people say, hey. That's amazing. Okay, so hold on just a second. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I can tell when I'm missing comments. I just can't see where they are. Susan, good morning. She says she loves the color that I'm wearing today. Thank you. I know it's one of my favorite colors. I actually have a hard time finding things that I like on me, like style wise, that have this color. So when I do have I don't know, I have a couple red things that I'll pull out here coming up because, Valentine's Day comes. So got to be cheerful. So when I talk to everybody about insulin resistance and this whole system conversation and it being all so connected, I feel like there are, when you feel like your effort is not matching progress, it's just not matching. It's like, why am I hitting that brick wall? I can't seem to move my body off of belly fat. I can't seem to move my body off of fatigue. I can't seem to move my belly off of just feeling so trash, anxious, depressed, whatever it is. There's so many symptoms that come from having a system that's just not functioning right. And your effort is not matching your progress. Let's shift that so that your effort can match progress and you can move forward. And I'm telling you, you will feel so encouraged when all of a sudden your insides start to it's kind of like that engine whirs back up again. It's starts to really kind of fire again, if that's the way you want to say that. And it feels so good. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how exhausted I was. I didn't realize how my sleep was so affected, or my mood, or I had that underlying anxiety, and I kind of just got used to it. So let me just put together a couple pieces for you with the total body reset, and you can then decide whether or not you need to ask me questions, etc. Okay. And a lot of you are already doing the total body reset. That's fantastic. But for those, there's always somebody new. There's always somebody new. And if I don't tell somebody about it, you know how I feel about that. I don't like that at all. So when I was 30, that's when my dad died of type 2 diabetes. And when I was 50, I finally decided to deal with my own shiz, my own world, because I just really was living my life just assuming, well, everything will be the way it's supposed to be because it's genetic anyway, right? And that's not true at all. But I didn't understand that. So I started with the trio. Now, these are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And most programs or most supplementing thought processes are add this, add, I have so many of you that, and all of these are great, but they're not targeted. I'm on cinnamon, I'm taking vitamin D, I'm taking omega-3, these are all important. Okay. But these are very, very targeted. And so everything I'm going to show you in this little 6 piece, it's all for your liver, your gut, and your insulin. So everything we talk about, this is the encompassing of it. Okay. So if you're looking to accelerate your results, if you're looking to get your body up and running again, and it kind of just speeds up your own process, then this is what we're going to do. Last week, we did the challenge inside of the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. That's where I teach the food component. So I teach the food, food ingredient trade outs for the foods that you already love. And then I teach the supplementation that is very targeted, very specific. So this one you take 3 times a day, and it is a capsule, as you can see. And this is helping you with your insulin and your sugars and your cravings, FYI, and your cravings. So again, insulin and sugars. If you don't get your insulin down, you can't burn fat. Okay, 3 times a day. Then this one is for your liver. Your liver metabolizes your fat. It metabolizes it supports your hormones, governs your hormones. Insulin is a hormone, cortisol is a hormone, GLP-1 is a hormone, and it also helps to govern the glucose in your blood. Okay, so liver, twice a day. Love your liver. Love your liver. Okay, half of the total body reset is for your liver, FYI. And then this last one is for your metabolism. Okay, so this is an extract. All right. Twice a day, 3 times a day. That's where I started, you guys, as a 2X in size. And that helped me while I was trading out my food ingredients. Helped me to get that food noise to calm down, to get my inflammation to start going south. I needed that inflammation to come down so I didn't feel so trashed all the time. Really hard to make decisions or to have any long-term thought process towards changing out your ingredients and trying a new recipe if you are like super exhausted or if your cravings are so out of control. Because then you know what that's saying, like you don't go to the store when you're hungry. Well, sometimes you don't know how not to feel that way anymore because this is your new life, right? Like you just can't, you feel like you are out of control. You made the recipe yesterday. Yummy, Jackie says. So you must be talking about the creamy mushroom soup, right? That we made in the group. I am telling you what, I used that same technique of using eggs with the lemon juice again last night in a recipe that I did with some of the extra mushrooms that I had. So amazing. I love learning tips and tricks like that. That was amazing. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that road. I could go on another rabbit trail, but I won't do it. So number 4, so those were 3. Those were 3 pieces right there. Number 4 is the gut primer. You guys, if you have had your gallbladder removed or you have sluggish liver, you know that you've got to get your digestion figured out. You have unpredictability with constipation, diarrhea, you've got indigestion, you're exhausted, you're just not, you don't have flow. You don't have flow. This is a daily gastrointestinal primer. Has 6 different blends in it. And I'm going to tell you, this has been such a game changer for so many women. I could just go on. I get excited because I have somebody who like literally, short gut syndrome. And she was like so worried about trying this. And now she's so happy that she did because she had diarrhea all the time. And when you've got different things in your body functions differently. It's concerning. You're not looking for it to get worse, right? So digestive enzymes, pre-postbiotic. The cool thing is that the greens in here, like if you buy regular greens, they're regular greens, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. These greens are fermented already for you. That means very bioavailable, very gentle on your tummy, very supporting of healing and sealing of your gut. Okay, so I take 1 little scoop and I put it in cold water. I already did mine for today, about this much. Somebody was talking about pouring it on ice. You could do that too, because it's very green tea tasting, turmeric, gingery. So, that's not my favorite flavor, but I'm super neutral about it. So as long as I drink it cold, I'm super good. Some of you all love it and some of you do not like it and you doctor it, like cinnamon or lemon juice. Everybody's different, but pour it on ice. I'd like to hear if other people do that and then tell me what you think. Just as another tip. So that's every single day in the morning, double up on it morning and night. If this is just my own personal recommendation from having used it now for so long, when I go on a business trip, I will do morning and night. I may be sitting an awful lot. I'm like, I may be eating more out. Maybe my sleep isn't on point. Maybe all the things, and your system kind of goes, "Mah." So then I double up, yada, yada. The 5th one is a probiotic, 5 live strains. It's a powder, put it on my tongue. Already did that this morning. This has stick to the gut technology and stay alive technology because you have to get that good bacteria back into your gut. But guess what? It needs to be able to get through your stomach acid and stick to your gut lining. Do you think all products are going to do that? Probably not. Just saying. So make sure that you have something that is scientifically proven to do its job because we waste a lot of money. And then the last one is for your visceral fat. This one excites me so much because now that I have the results from you guys, where there's a fatty liver on an MRI that went from bad to mild, where there's people who give me their visceral fat scans, et cetera, where we know, because that to me is like, I want you to lose weight. I want you to have change sizes just like I did. I want you to do all those things, but I want your labs to come back. I want your labs to come back and be positive because you're buying more time. Okay. And your visceral fat is all the fat that's in your trunk area, under your boob, down through your hips. Okay. And that visceral fat is around your organs and your intestines. And it's not positive. Now, it's interesting because it doesn't weigh a lot. It's not fat that's heavy. Muscle is heavy. So you can lose a bunch of visceral fat and the scale doesn't change as much, but your clothes fit differently and you know what you're doing inside. You can lose like inches. Like over the course of a year, I've had more than one person lose like under their boob, down through their hips, like 13, 14 inches from that trunk area. That is positive. That's like medically positive for your universe, okay? So these are the total body reset. You can always put total body reset in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. It doesn't stay on Instagram, but you can do that and I will get you the information, or I'll give you a shortcut if you want a shortcut. Kathy asks, can you take the green one in hot water? Yes, you can, Kathy. Thank you for asking that question because this is really important, actually. Let me tell you why. This has a pre and a postbiotic, and pre and postbiotics are stable. They are stable. So you can drink this like a tea. Absolutely. Okay. You can put it in a soup. You can do that. The one that you don't want to do hot ever is the probiotic, because these are alive and heat will kill them. But this one you can. It's why it doesn't have a probiotic in it. So thank you for asking that question. Hello, Deborah. She says, hello, friends. Joan, have some tummy issues last night, so I mixed up the gut primer and was able to fall asleep and recharge. It worked just as it should. Joan, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Wendy, you get them from me. I can give you I'll give you a link when I get off of the total body reset and you can see for yourself, or I'll give you a shortcut right now. Hold on. So thank you for saying that, Joan. Yeah, that's that picture that I have of my daughter where she was so dang bloated and she took it at night because she was like, I mean, I know that technically you take it at the beginning of the day. She's like, and she just was such a mess. She's the one that had the gallstones. So she had her own digestive issues, right? And so this was her before and after. And what that looked like, I don't know if I can get that up there. That's not going to stay for you guys. I'll do it quickly. Okay, and I'll do it again for you guys. So that is what she looked like before she went to bed. And then she took a dose and woke up the next morning and she said, Mom, I was still very inflamed. I pulled that out of a highlight bubble at the top of my Instagram page, just for anybody that wants to know. So it does do what it says it's going to do when it comes to that bloating and that moving, and that those fermented greens, what they're doing is they are supporting your liver function. They're supporting the bile creation. They're supporting the whole help with, remember, instead of having thick and sludgy bile, you want thin and flowing bile. That's what it's supporting. And as well as like the whole leaky gut nutrient absorption. So it's a support for the healing and the sealing of your gut. Okay. Anyway, there you go. So Kathy, thank you for asking that question on the hot. I appreciate that. Because I don't remember to tell everybody everything. All right. Last thing, and then we will wrap up for today. I'm going to show you my shortcut. Now, anybody who, if you are already a customer, you already probably know about this, and that is the customer campaign. The customer campaign is all year long. You can rinse and repeat it and just save, like get cash back, get cash back, get cash back every 3 months. When you purchase $150 or more, 3 months in a row, you are rewarded for your consistency. And you'll get $75 off of that third order. You don't have to have an auto ship. That's a whole nother. You can do an auto ship. You don't have to have an auto ship to get the $75 off. I have a lot of you choose auto ship because you do not want to forget, so that you can get the $75 off. Hope that makes sense. You don't have to have a discount code or a coupon, nothing. They will erase it for you. But if you've ever been watching my content and you've been thinking, I actually sometime want to try that, do it in January. Let me just give you a heads up. Do it in January. Make your 90-day run start in January and do January, February, and March, because they are doing that New Year's bonus where when you do 150 in January and then you do it again in February, they're going to take 50 off of that February order. And then March is your regular $75 off. So you're getting cha-ching, and you're 3 months in, and everything has a 6-month guarantee. So it's very, very no-brainer. Anyway, this is what you can do. So if you go to my website, which is my first last name.com, KirstenLiebelt.com. I'll put it up on the screen for Facebook and YouTube. KirstenLiebelt.com. Kirsten, like the American Girl doll. Liebelt, Lie, like you lie down, and then belt, Belt, like you put around your waist. Liebelt, looks like Liebelt. No space in there, KirstenLiebelt.com. Okay. Very, very short, little tiny website. Literally, that's it. Okay. So at the very top, there's my picture. The total body reset is right there. It's right there. And if you're somebody who's like, okay, you gave me some good information, you can either like just click on the button and look at it, or maybe you want to watch, I break it down here. It's in a 9-minute video. I give you deeper understanding. My story is here for you so you can understand my background. So many of you want to know my story. There are testimonies here, and there are free resources down here. So there's a lot there to look at and to actually just take away. Okay, for anybody that wants to do that. If you want to go to my site and contact me, just scroll up to the bottom. Here's my contact information. You can text me. You can get into the Facebook group somewhere in there. Oopsie. That says open Instagram. No, don't do that. You can text me. You can get into the Facebook group. Just give your email. Tell them Kirsten sent you. The replays of the 5-day challenge that we did last week, they are up in the featured section in that group. Like, you are not lacking help, education, support, somebody to answer your questions, somebody to walk journey with you. You are not lacking. And maybe then your results start to look like somebody else's that are like on this on this live, you know. The testimonies are so amazing to me. Sometimes I just don't know where to start. There are so many testimonies of people losing weight and keeping it off because they finally dealt with the internal system. People that are off of meds. The meds that have been dropped are mind-boggling to me, because I always knew that insulin resistance was the root cause, but I didn't know to what degree. And now I feel like I have a better handle on that. People that are off of IBS meds or fibro or anti-anxiety, MET. We all know what that is, right? Omeprazole. So many different meds that people have gotten off of. And that like frees up your body from having to deal with the side effects, but it also frees up your brain from having to manage them and to be constantly in doctor's appointments, managing all of these things. My dad was somebody who lived with high amounts of meds and high interactions. And I've mentioned this before, but he was a restaurant owner in Minneapolis when I was a little girl. And then he was a furniture store owner. And when that happened, he was on so much insulin. Here he was only in his 50s. So young. Now I understand, right? Because I'll be 61. So young. And his body just could not handle the level of insulin and all of these meds he was taking. So he would get up in the morning and start taking meds for breakfast, right? And his incorrect breakfast of cereal and skim milk and saccharin. I mean, honestly, like, I just think back to all of the bad advice he got from the doctors. Any hoodle, like the diabetic diet, what a joke. So he would do all of this, and then he wasn't even safe to drive until about noon because there were so many interactions. So when you get off of meds or when you shift your lab results, it's like you're buying your function back. You're buying your peace of mind back. You're buying your brain space back. You're buying your time back. So many things shift. He would just sit at the end of his kitchen table with his yellow ledger pad as a business owner. And he would just sit there. This was 30 years. He died 30 years ago. And he would just sit there and make phone calls to his employees to make sure that they were there to open up the store, to make sure that sales were coming in, to make sure he was on it, but he wasn't safe to drive. Because everything he took, his scoop full of, meds were fighting for function, and his blood sugars were all over the place. He was just a mess. And so I find it comical because I do take, I always talk about the total body reset, but it's not the totality of what I take. I talk about that a little bit more because I'm not looking to confuse people, right? Like right now I'm taking the lion's mane, and I'm taking the horny goat weed, and I take my adaptogenic herbs, but I'm telling you, nothing fights each other in my body. It's all very synergistic. I hope that people understand that. There's a big difference between taking a handful of pills that have side effects and could contradict each other and taking supplementation where your body is actually like, oh, the brain fog is lifted and the mental clarity comes and the energy is there. And, oh, wow, from the inside out. Oh, here we go. We're flowing, right? So anyway, you are so welcome, Joan. She says, thank you for the gallbladder course, maybe helpful. It will be mindful, grateful. I know you're so grateful, Joan. You're amazing. So Deborah says she's cooking today chocolate pudding and the creamy mushroom soup. Thanks for the recipes. You are welcome, Deborah. I learned from the best. I learned from people like Maria Emmerich and Carolyn Ketchum. And there we go. So I'll see you back here at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Anybody who wants more information, please reach out. And all of you that go on just to order, just make sure that you go to the top of the page where there's a little person icon and register as a customer with your name. Do not check out as a guest because you will not unlock free shipping. You will not unlock that customer campaign. Cash off. What could be better? So, all right. Have the best day ever. And I will see you tomorrow, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Bye, you guys. Love you so much. See you later.